one of the things I love about the Sufi tradition, which I've got many friends in Egypt and other places who are Sufis, which is the mystical heart of Islam. And one time, in fact, I was introduced to a Sufi sheikh who would be like the Sufi master. And I was asked if I would treat him homeopathically because he was old and he had various ailments. And I said, of course, it would be my pleasure. And this fellow drove me several hours through the desert from Cairo, and we went to this little shanty town, and I got to meet this old chap. Again, he was in his 80s. He was arthritic. His eyes were kind of cataract. He wasn't sure whether he could actually see anything or not. But he sat down with us, and despite his frail physical form, again, I could feel his presence. And when he started to speak to me, he was speaking in Arabic. The fellow who'd driven me there was translating. And as he was speaking to me, again, even though I couldn't understand the words directly, it was really touching me. There was something really stirring inside me as this chap was talking. And at one point, I just felt my whole chest was just filling up, and I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It felt like both would be appropriate.
Yeah.
And what was funny, he'd been asking me several questions. I'll tell you the questions he was asking me because it was kind of amusing. He, when I'd finished, I took a little kind of case history and I prescribed him some homeopathic medicines. Right. And then he said, would it be okay if I asked you some questions? I said, of course. And he said to me, does it sometimes happen that the medicine that you give doesn't work? And I said, yeah, more often than I would like, And he said, well, what do you do then? I said, well, we have these books that we consult, we maybe look for a better remedy. And if that doesn't work, what do you do? I said, well, we have professional colleagues, and, I probably would phone a friend, and see what my colleague would suggest. And again, he's looking at me through these, these cataract eyes, very gentle, but very persistent. And he says, well, and if that doesn't work, what would you do? And I was getting a bit hot under the collar by this point, And I thought, well, he's asking me a genuine question. It deserves an honest answer. So I reflected on it, and I told him the truth, which was, I said, well, I ask for help. And it's just something that I had kind of learned to do ever since I'd been in the healing work. If I got stuck or I felt out of my depth, I would literally just ask for help. Usually inwardly, nobody else would know that I was asking for help, but I would, you could say, offer a prayer, or just, I would ask for some kind of guidance, or, show me a sign kind of thing. So I said that to him. I said, well, if I really get stuck, I kind of hand it over and I ask for help. Again, he looks me in the eye. His final question, he says, to whom do you ask? And at that point, I felt like he had me pinned down in the corner, And he was just sat there, this gentle, elderly, frail-looking character with this very benign smile on his face. But each question, it felt like he'd pinned another limb of mine to the wall.
Okay.
And when he asked me that one, I was finished. I couldn't speak.
Really?
I knew if I tried to speak, all that would come out was tears. And I just had like these waves of love and whatever it was that was just coming through me. I was completely bewildered. At this point, he relaxed. He kind of smiled. He kind of half laughed, rubs his hands together, and he says, "No more questions."
Beautiful. That's a beautiful story.
That was it. He was done with me,
Yeah.